Do EVs need specific tyres? Here's some information for you. Hi there, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to click the like and subscribe buttons below and stick around until the end because I've got a little bit of bonus information for you. Back when I had a four-wheel drive and I used to take it off-road, you needed to get specific tyres. You had roadworthy tyres or one specific for mud or sand and so on. So it's about the same for electric vehicles. Specific tyres can help with road holding, increased range, road noise and so on. But as it stands at the moment, there aren't too many choices, certainly in Australia. But it will improve as tyre manufacturers are working on bringing out EV specific tyres. So why all the fuss? Firstly, EVs are a lot quieter than your standard internal combustion engine vehicles. So you notice road noise is a lot more. Road noise is one of the factors. A tyre designed for EVs should have less perceptible road noise. And I'm sure you've all heard these big four-wheel drives go past you with a hell of a lot of whining and road noise from the tyres. Well, you don't want that when you're driving in an EV because you don't even have the engine sound to drown it out. Road noise specific, low road noise tyres would be helpful, but it would also make your journey in your EV a lot more pleasant. So some of these, Michelin Pilot Sport for one, come with foam inserts to help reduce noise levels in the cabin. But I'll tell you a bit more about that in a minute. Apart from having low road noise, low rolling resistant tyres are also useful. These are tyres that have less friction on the road, so as they go around, the amount of force required to keep going is decreased, and that will extend your range. But on the other side of that, they've also got to be able to have good grip. And that's where the problem arises. Low rolling resistance doesn't always mean good grip. So the manufacturer has to get around this with different compounds and tread patterns. Some of them are now bringing out specific EV tyres. So there's a lot of need for development in this area. They also need to wear well because EVs can place a lot of stress on the tyres with their instant torque and the added weight of the EV. And so what you'll find is the performance models like the Model 3 Performance will get less range out of their tyres than my Model 3 Standard Range Plus. So we need a tyre that's got reduced road noise, low rolling resistance, but immediate grip when needed, and the ability to wear well. A lot of these problems are solved with the reinforced sidewalls to add strength to the tyre, especially seeing as EVs are generally a lot heavier. And sometimes you'll see the letters XL or HL on the sidewall to indicate that they're capable of carrying the extra weight. Now, here in Australia, I do believe, from a legal point of view, that you do not need specific EV tyres on your EV. You can stick anything on that you want that's the right size and so on, but I wouldn't recommend it. Most brands now have specific EV tyres, well, at least in development. Some of them are more specific for performance models, like the Model 3 Performance, Model S Plaid and so on. But a lot of these EV tyres have what is called an asymmetric tread pattern, and it can only fit to one side of the car. So when you come to do a tyre rotation, you can only move the front to the back. You can't move them all the way around, because if you take a car from the left, put it on the right, it's actually going the wrong way for its tread pattern. What tyres are available for EVs, at least here in Australia? Michelin make their Pilot Sport EV, and that should be available for both the Model 3 and the Model Y. It's not easily available for a lot of places at the moment. When I received my Model 3, it came with Michelin Pilot Sport 4 with a foam interior to cut down on the road noise. Now, these are low rolling resistance tyres, to have a low road noise as well as excellent grip. And when I replace these tyres, I replace them with Pilot Sport 4s again, but without the foam interior. And honestly, I didn't actually notice any increase in road noise. So if you don't want the extra few hundred for 4 tyres with foam in, personally, I wouldn't worry about it. Now, most manufacturers have got specific EV tyres besides Michelin, or at least have them in development. So there's Pirelli, Kumho, Continental, Yokohama. They've all got them in development. Model Ys in Australia that have just arrived came in with Hankook Ventus S1 Evo 3 EV. There's a mouthful. So these are specifically labelled for EVs. Now, Hankook's a South Korean company based in Seoul. I couldn't find these particular tyres currently for sale in Australia in the EV version, but the Ventus S1 Evo 3 are available. Tyre manufacturers are labelling the sidewall of their vehicles, of their tyres, with the letters EV. So if you see those 2 letters following on from the name, like Michelin Pilot Sport EV, then you know they're specifically designed for your EV. It's a pretty solid clue. The other thing that you need to be careful of is tyre pressures. So the recommended tyre pressure is usually indicated on a plate just inside the driver's door. So my Model 3 suggests 42 psi. I tend to pump mine up to about 45 psi cold tyre inflation pressure. The reason for the higher pressure is it actually lowers the rolling resistance a little bit more, so it gives an increased range. But it may come at the expense of comfort, as it can make the ride a little bit harder. So now it's time for that bonus tidbit of knowledge. As tyres get older, they do deteriorate. So even if you've still got plenty of tread left on a tyre, they may still need replacing. Certainly you need to start considering replacing it once the tyre reaches 5 years old, and definitely when they hit 10 years old. Anyone with an old trailer with old tyres still on it? I'd have a look if I was you. So how can you tell how old the tyre is? Well, the date of manufacture is on the side wall of the tyre. Now, it's not on both sides. It's only on one side. So you may have to look on the inside of the tyre, depending on how it was put on. With the EV tyres, they tend to be only on one side of the car, so it's usually on the outside. So you'll see in there's a panel with 4 numbers on it. The first 2 represent the week of the year, and the second 2 the year. So if you see 0222, it was made in the second week, or January 2022. The tyres on my Model 3 have 5021. So they were made in December 21. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you found this useful. Please don't forget to click that like and subscribe buttons below. It does cost you nothing, but it helps promote the channel. Certainly clicking the like button, and every little bit helps. See you all soon.